That's a quite interesting campaign you guys been embarking recently, which is I'm so on PayPal. And can you just explain a bit on the story behind the campaign?
Absolutely. Over the last 2 years, I spent a lot of time in the market, meeting with customers, meeting with entrepreneurs and bigger companies around what are some of the challenges that they're seeing on growing their business and running their business, and what's their experience been with PayPal. And when we look at the Malaysia marketplace, amazing opportunity. We have 700,000 SMBs across Malaysia.
Yeah.
Only 100,000 of them are online, and the latest numbers I have is around like almost only 50,000 have an e-commerce solution. So we saw what we wanted to invest and help educating and educate merchants, entrepreneurs around what are some of the great opportunities of selling and being online to help grow their businesses and sell their products both internationally as well as domestically. So rather than us telling our story, we want to talk to successful merchants that have been growing and using PayPal over the last couple of years, and for them to tell their story.
And what do you think is the big issue that why local merchants and local businesses do not adopt e-commerce, or is, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and normally the questions that come, so the answers that comes back, or the feedback is normally around safety,
Hmm.
security, and so how am I protected, and how do I start, how do I find customers, how am I able to bring kind of traffic to my website,
Hmm.
how do I manage logistical solutions? Just a lot of question marks, and people are a little bit worried about, is it expensive? Do I need a lot of capital investment to get up and running?
Yeah.
And, and what we're saying is that actually there's a lot less risks involved with setting up online first than it actually is in setting up a physical presence.
Yeah.
You don't need a retail space, you don't need staff. You can start small, and you get direct feedback from your customers, and you can quickly improve your product or the services that you're providing, and you're able to move much faster and without a lot of capital investment. So I'm very passionate, I'm a very strong believer in how e-commerce can help,
Yeah.
especially small entrepreneurs and small businesses to grow and realize their dreams.
Okay. So, can I know like what are the, because a lot of people are worried about like in terms of there's not many PayPal users on in Malaysia or around Asia in general. So, I understand that Malaysia is a quite large market in Southeast Asia. Am I correct? Do you have any?
Absolutely. Yeah, Malaysia is a big market and a very important market for us. We have around the globe, PayPal, we have more than 113 million consumers. A million of those are in Malaysia, and
Wow.
we're growing at very strong double-digit growth. Nielsen did a survey in 2011, and PayPal came out as the most preferred and used payment method in Malaysia
Wow. That's
by Malaysians in 2011, both for e-commerce as well as mobile commerce. So we're very excited and we're very proud of working with Malaysia. In Malaysia, we have a big office there with more than 350 staff, and we continue to invest and see growth coming out of Malaysia.
I have not seen the office yet, but it's actually a wonderful location.
It is indeed, indeed. I will invite you over next time you come, Daniel.
Yeah, we'll do. So in terms of what's the growth? Indonesia and Singapore is also a very important market for you guys. And is there any particular trends that you have been seeing in terms of the growth rate or adaptation of e-commerce or online payment, mobile payment in the region?
Yeah, we're seeing very strong growth across all of the markets. Malaysia specifically, as well as Singapore, share many similarities. And I think the number one trend that is coming across, not only in our markets, but also across all of the globe, is mobile payments. Mobile payments is extremely hot, exciting. In 2010, we PayPal registered or transacted about $750 million
Wow.
in transactions. Last year, that grew from 750 million to 4 billion.
Okay.
4 billion, and this year we're expecting to do more than $10 billion globally of mobile payments.
So that is just mobile payment alone.
Just mobile payments alone, more than $10 billion, and then grown from 750 million to 10 billion in just 2 years.
That is amazing growth, actually. And
Absolutely.
what are the examples where, when we are talking about mobile payments, when because for the entrepreneurs who are not familiar about mobile payments, can you give some examples what people usually use for that?
Absolutely. So mobile payments would really see around e-commerce. So if you look at e-commerce and you look at commerce, the lines are really blurring. So over the last 10 years, we all have kind of seen the shift of more customers and more consumers wanting to buy online, getting access to goods that they might not be able to have locally, or finding great deals. But we're also seeing that traditional retail continues to continues to be the predominant channel of choice.
Okay.
But we've also seen that more than 50-60% of the consumers are using the web to do product research, product reviews, and while they still might be doing the transactions in the physical retail. So what we're seeing is really the mobile device. Mobile device being in the center of kind of blurring the lines between offline and online. We don't see it as being offline or online or mobile. We're just seeing it as being commerce.
Okay.
And really a multi-channel approach is what we're seeing.
So it's really of the story of conversion that happened a while back, and now it's actually really happening. And
It really is happening now, yeah.
the amount is like really fantastic. Okay, so
Let me just and apologize, just me kind of a little bit clearer. So when we look at mobile devices, it really comes back to the consumer on his preferred choice and interaction model. And we're seeing mobile, I mean, the amazing number of mobile smartphone systems that are being sold, smartphone devices being sold in Malaysia on a daily basis. We look at the consumers are really looking for convenience. So people are spending time in traffic jams, people are spending time.
I just proceed.
People are interacting with emails, Facebook. That's just the preferred choice of interacting. So it's absolutely critical for merchants to be able to provide a really good experience for their customers, because if you don't have a mobile optimized experience, you're basically closing the door on a big proportion of the customers that wants to engage with you and buy from you.
That's quite interesting. So, okay, let's take a step back in terms of okay, let's assume I'm a new entrepreneur, and I have my own products. I'm actually doing retails and etc. I have my own business. What is the very first thing would you advise entrepreneurs to actually do before they start going to e-commerce and start using PayPal?
So the first thing that I would, my first recommendation is always to start small and start nimble. So don't go and invest in expensive technology. There's a lot of great e-commerce solutions out there that is free of charge or just comes at a very low monthly fee. Within the eBay family that PayPal is part of, we own a company called Magento, which is the world's largest open source platform. A lot of great solutions that exist in the marketplace today. So my recommendation is always focus around what is the product and service you want to sell. Start small. list your product on popular marketplaces to help you with market demand. So that could be eBay, Lilong, Etsy, depending on what type of product you are like. But do some research around where consumers are spending that. Rather than trying to drive the traffic to your website, try to list in some of the product places and kind of get some feedback around what is your product range, what's your quality looking like. The second piece is that you need to listen to customer feedback. And you have to listen to it very, very quickly. And what we're always finding is that consumers wants to pay with a debit card and credit card, and that's why PayPal is the preferred choice for merchants as well as consumers, because it's easy, doesn't cost any money, and you're up and running in 30 minutes. Trying to get a traditional merchant account with a bank, you have to do a lot of applications, you need to provide a lot of information, integrations is not that strong. And if you think about if you're selling internationally, for example, and you're a small business, there's a lot of security and trust issues and before the customer knows you. And we constantly over and over and see that customers don't want to share their credit card or debit card details with merchants, and that's why consumers prefer to use PayPal. And by PayPal or adding credit card to your e-commerce site, conversion rates increase anything between 17 to 25%.
Understood. Okay, so I mean, those are some of the very key advantage. Security is a big concern among when we did a survey earlier this year about security for online transaction is actually a big concern. And what are the current key features that PayPal is doing to actually help to protect the merchant and also help to protect the consumer?
Um, so we really have three key features. When it comes to security, it's actually protecting both the consumers and the merchants. And the way that we do that is basically PayPal being a digital wallet. You store your credit card or debit card or bank details with PayPal, which is a cloud-based services. And we never share, when a customer does a transaction with a merchant, we never share the credit card details or the financial details with the merchants.
Yeah.
So there's one point. So all of the details is with PayPal, rather than having your credit card details with multiple merchants around the world.
Okay.
So the first one is really around financial and security details, never sharing that. The second piece is we are a closed loop system. And a closed loop system basically means that we know who the buyer is and we know who the merchant is, or who the seller is. And by having a closed loop system, we can control behavior and we can start to understand who's not behaving the way that they should in the marketplace, and we can then remove them out from the system. So when you see the PayPal logo and when you see the PayPal brand, it's really a seal of trust, of confidence that this is going to be a good customer experience, both for the merchant and the consumer. The third piece is really around being a closed system. We have best in class, and we have the best anti-fraud rates, anti-fraud protection for our merchants. And it's really around, we've been in this space for 14 years, and we've been constantly optimizing and learning around what does bad behavior look like, what does good behavior look like. And that's why we are constantly, merchants coming back to us that, hey, when I started to selling online, I just accepted credit cards. I received a lot of fraud coming through organized crime or people that were scamming me.
Yeah.
That pretty much all or more or less goes away when you accept PayPal because of our fraud protection policies.
Yeah, it's actually really helpful for merchants, especially when they first venture online, and they need PayPal is actually more like it helps them to protect their online selling experience.
Absolutely. And the most important thing that we offer for our buyers is we offer what we call buyer protection,
Mhm.
which basically means if a product wouldn't arrive in the way that if the product doesn't arrive, if the product isn't what they describe. So let's say they bought a green polo T-shirt, but it shows up to be a gray and it's not the right color. We offer full refunds and we offer full refund for our consumers, and we work together with the merchants on making sure that we maintain good customer experience within our ecosystem.
Yeah, that's really good because that's one of the reasons why we always use PayPal for our stuff. So okay, finally, we need to ask you about you've been in Asia altogether for 10 years, right? Correct?
Yeah, just coming up to 9 years.
Coming up to 9 years. So I just want to ask about the key trends that you have noticed around the region, basically.
Thank you. As I look back at the kind of the last 10 years, Asia just continues to surprise me and brings me a lot of positive hope for around a lot of the change that's happening around the world, and how Asia is really leading the kind of the new growth and a new way to do business. Um, on the key trends that I'm seeing is that small businesses and entrepreneurs continues to be the backbone of growth in all of the economies, both in Singapore and Malaysia, India. And we're having there's a lot of capital that exists. I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs that are completely changing the business model, challenging the traditional way, and by taking risks and being open to kind of quickly innovate and listen to customer feedback, we're seeing some phenomenal growth rates across the region. In the last couple of years, um, if I look back in Malaysia and Singapore, e-commerce about 5 years ago, it was very much of an import and export markets. So a lot of consumers were buying overseas, getting access to electronics, getting access to fashion or collectibles or toys that they were not able to get domestically.
Yeah.
Over the last 2-3 years, the domestic e-commerce markets have just exploded.
Yeah.
We're seeing triple-digit growth in all of our domestic markets. And the key drivers for the last 2 years, of course, have been deal sites, Groupons, and their likes. Has brought a massive explosion into consumer behavior and driving retail and merchant engagement. Mobile phones continues. I mean, it's more than triple-digit growth. It con- I am so bullish and I am so excited about what the mobile phone is going to bring to us. What we've seen in the last 5 years is nothing to what we're going to be experiencing in the next 10 years.
I know. I'm so
And
excited myself too.
I'm super excited because I love technology, and I can see how it empowers people and small entrepreneurs through internet, e-commerce, payments. It opens up so much opportunity and freedom for people.
All right, amazing. Okay, thanks a lot, Klas. Thanks for your time, and really appreciate for this interview. And well, if any of our entrepreneurs, are you on Twitter or are you on? Where can people actually find more details about PayPal or what you are doing?
So paypal.com.my, or you can find me on Klas_Hesselman at Twitter. And you can also find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. And my email address is khesselman@paypal.com. That's khesselman@paypal.com. If any questions, if anything that you need help with, or any questions that you have, just reach out to me and I'm happy to help, or make sure that you get some of my colleagues to help you with in any way that we can.
I mean, this is superb customer service. I mean, not many people will actually want to deal with that. But yeah, really,
I love it.
really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon. This is Daniel Cervantes from Entrepreneurs.my. You can actually get hold of us at Entrepreneurs.my.